This is a brief tutorial of the game Path of Civilization as played on Board Game Arena. Path of Civilization is a very intricate civilization building game with a lot of moving pieces, but actually not too many choices for the user. So it looks a lot more complex than it is. And in fact, BGA, because it automates a lot of the scoring and setup, means that there aren't as many things that you have to worry about when playing it on BGA. Uh, really, the only things you're doing are choosing where to place cards and then buying new cards, and then everything else happens in the background, and BGA takes care of that. So I'm not going to explain why certain things happen, like with setup or new rounds and things, but just really where the player has to interact and what those interactions mean and what you have to consider when taking those actions, and then what consequences may come from those actions. So the game runs over 9 rounds, and in each round there are these 6 phases. Uh, Again, though, the user is only really doing anything in rounds A, C, and E, and then the computer takes care of everything else on BGA. But let me explain how it works. At the beginning of each round, you're going to have a hand of probably 5 cards. These are the starting 5 cards. They're pretty basic. You'll have a chance to replace and upgrade those cards. And you're going to choose 4 of these cards to place in these 4 slots. Now, the cards that are placed on this side will get benefits that are on this side of the card, and the cards that are placed on this side will get the benefits that are on this side of the card. You may have a leader in the middle. That's not something you play, it's something that you'll buy and just have there or replace at some point. But the 4 cards that you choose will go on this side or this side, and you will get the benefits there of those cards. Now notice that each of these cards don't have anything on the left side to start with, only on the right side. And the right side are are research points that get you more cards, which you can see down here. These are the other cards that you can buy, and you can see that they have multiple symbols on the left side and right side. Especially as they get more expensive, you can get quite a bit from a single card. An important thing to note as you're placing those is that you get some sort of benefit from the left or the right side. It's a number of symbols, but you can only have as many symbols on the left or as the right. You can only use as many symbols on the left or on the right as you have population. Most players will start with 4, but anytime you see this symbol, that can move up. So let's say you had placed these 2 cards on the left side. Well, that's 7 symbols, but if your population was only 4, you would only get to choose 4 of those symbols to use. Something to keep in mind as you place those cards. So you choose the 4 to place in these 4 slots. Then the 5th one turns over and goes away for later scoring. In these cases, these aren't worth any money, but you can see that some of these have that point value in them. Those, when they are turned over, will be points at the end of the game. Or even if they're not turned over, they're still worth points at the end of the game. So you place your 4 cards, get rid of the 5th one, then you get this side of the cards, whatever benefits you have there. Obviously in the first round that's not going to be anything, but if you start placing some of these, you will get some of those. And these square icons that you get represents cubes that you put different places that allow you to do different things. The blue cubes let you put in the blue icons let you put cubes in this one. The purple let you put in this, gray in here, yellow in here, red into here. And again, there's that note that you can only put as many cubes as the population that you have. After that, various things happen. with those we'll talk about in a minute, then you get all of the benefits on the right side. And in this case, in your first round, it'll be some combination of icons, and you'll move up in those spots on this research track, trying to move up in certain colors to then spend that money to buy various cards at this 1, 4, 7, and 10 valued level. That's first number phase E. That's where you spend those cards, spend those research points to get a new card, just one, and then at the end there will be some sort of event that happens, and it'll be either a yellow event or a red event. Yellow is based on various sciences or research, I believe, and then the red ones are based on this military track. All right, let's talk about some of the things that you can do with all of these icons. So first of all, the B icons. So the blue icons that happen in phase B, the cubes go here in this evolution track, I believe it's called. And currently green has one as part of their starting power. They got one to start with, but every time that you add cubes to this, if you have enough cubes in this level of icon, then you will move up to the next evolution step. These will flip over. You get to choose one if you're the only one that moves up that round, and then that one stays flipped over and becomes the benefit for anyone else who moves up to that next step. This is not an option that you have. You automatically move if you have that many, and it spends those cubes. And if two people move up at the same time or more, then both are flipped over, and everyone who makes it to that level will get to choose. And these benefits are going to be points or other icons. These types of things down here are the various things that you can get. For these first two levels, those benefits are just as is, but later, as you get farther, which costs more cubes, those points those benefits will double or even triple if you at the end. But remember, the first person, if they're the only one there, gets to choose which one that everybody gets, and that flips over. If more than one person makes it to the next stage at the same time, both flip, and anyone who makes it to that stage get to choose those two. There's also points at the end based on how far along this track that you get. Those are blue icons. Gray icons are put here to buy wonders. Wonders are things that you can buy and typically get immediate benefits and end of game points. The cost of them in cubes is this number at the top left. So you can see I started out, my character was able to start out with 1 gray cube, so I have one in there already. If I get 2 eventually, then I could purchase one of these cubes. Everybody chooses at the same time which ones they want, and if nobody else has wants to purchase your wonder, then you are able to purchase it, no problem. If more than one person wants to purchase the same wonder and has enough cubes to do so, then you look at this top right symbol, you go up to your board, and this is your priority order. So my first priority is this gear, and so if I wanted to buy this one, it doesn't matter if anyone else wanted to buy it, I would get it. Whereas the blue one here, if I try to buy that and then somebody down here like green wanted to buy it as well, they would have first priority and I would have last priority. So that's how ties are worked if more than one person wants to buy the same thing. These will come out over time and be available, and again, they usually give some immediate effect. For instance, this one gives a yellow and a red cube, and then 1 point at the end of the game. This one gives 2 blue cubes. This one gives research points, brown and the yellow. They'll get more and more benefits as it goes on, as later rounds, more complicated and more expensive ones will come out. If you hover over it, it will explain the things that you get. And again, when you buy it, it comes up to the top here, and everything just automatically gives you that stuff that you've earned. I should note this symbol here, whenever you earn population, it continues to go up, and anytime you hit one of these spots, you get a purple cube. And purple cubes go here and allow you to buy leaders. Leaders are things that will be in here and can give you some benefits. There aren't any out on the first round. I'll skip ahead and show you a bit of what those are, but they work basically the same way in terms of buying them as the wonders do. Everybody says what they want, and then there's priority if more than one person wants the same one, and they have their certain costs and certain benefits. The difference with leaders is you can only have one at a time, and it'll have a benefit either immediate or ongoing. And then if you get another one, it replaces it and the other one dies, which could give them a different benefit or some end of game points based on whether they're alive or dead. And you'll see symbols of hearts or the gravestones depending on that. Those are the purples as buying leaders. The yellow and the red are putting cubes in here, which help for the end of game events, either the red events, the yellow events, or the red events. So we'll talk about that when we talk about the end of games. So all the cubes are placed, progress is made, wonders and leaders are purchased if available, and if you have enough cubes for them. That's what happens in the C, right? See the evolution track, wonders, and leaders. Next, you get research points. Like we mentioned, any icon of that color will move this track up, and then you can use those points to buy one new card in the available set of cards. It's important to note these don't continue to grow. When you use those points, they go back to zero or back. I believe back to zero no matter how many points that you use. So you can't just like buy one and then buy another one at 4. You have to get up to 4 before you can buy the 4-level card. I mentioned before, these are the various cards that you can get. It's important to note that these are all the same. So like in the physical game, there's stacks of these, and it shows how many. There's 9 of these, 8 of these, 8 of these, 7 of these, but they're all the same card. They're different levels, and this one costs 1, 4, 7, and 10. But like if somebody takes the tyranny card, there's another tyranny card right underneath it. So these are the 5 different versions of cards. They typically have some sort of theme to them. These green ones give you a lot of purple cubes and a lot of yellow and brown research points. The yellow ones give you yellow and blue cubes and blue and green research points, and so on and so forth. The other important thing is when you buy a card, whatever bonus it happens to be under that card here, you also get. So we've seen a lot of these before, getting cubes, getting population, getting research points. The only one that we haven't seen is this explosion character, which basically lets you move your meeple up this track, which gives you a baseline for military strength. So if you bought this one here, you would get 1 blue cube, 3 moving up the track, and 1 gray cube. So you get your research tokens, only what you can only use as many icons as you have people, population, and then you use all of one column to buy one of the cards. Apologies, I misspoke earlier. When you spend research points, you don't have to spend all of them at once. You just spend whatever the cost may be. So if you had 10 red research points and you spent 7 of them here to buy aviation, you would still have 3 left to use in future rounds. Okay, we've been through it. Placing your cards, getting your cubes, using those cubes to buy certain things or move on the evolution track, getting your research points, getting your new research card and the benefits that go in it. By the way, that one goes up here, and then in the next round you're able to use it. It becomes one of the 5 cards, including the 4 that you've placed, and then you pick 4 of those, and one of them goes again. And now the end of round events. So in the first 2 rounds, nothing happens. Starting in the 3rd round, we have swapping a yellow, then a red, then yellow, then red, then yellow, then red, and then in the last round we have a yellow and a red event. So these can vary in lots of different ways, but there's the yellow events typically have some sort of top benefit that everybody gets, or maybe that some people get. So in this case, everybody can either have a purple or a blue cube. In this one, everybody just gets 3 blue research points. Or um, maybe it's, in this case, only some people can get. So this is whoever's along the, who has the most scientific type can use, get 2 red cubes. Whoever has the most cards of that type, right? Um, this one here says, okay, until the end of the game, the cost of level 3 technology cards are in the industrial type are 1 less. So it just changes something up or gives a benefit, or there's some sort of competition to it. In the bottom, whenever you see these kind of symbols here, like we saw the yellow symbol here, the green symbol here, the brown one here, you basically take the number of cards that you have anywhere in your board. That could be deployed, it could be one you've bought, it could be one that's gone away, one that's in your graveyard, a monument, all that color of cards, plus any number of cubes that you have, and then those get removed, and you get that many points. And then you also divide that by some number and then get that many cubes or other benefit of something. So in this case, you would divide that number by 2, round it down, and get that many cubes. So if I had 3 or 4 green cards somewhere around there by round 3, then I would get 4 plus 1, 5 points, and then 5 divided by 2, rounded down, is 2 cubes. So I would get 2 yellow cubes that I could use then in this next yellow round over here. In this case, you take your brown cards plus your yellow cubes and get that many points, and then divide it by 2 and you get research points for it. In this case, you take blue cards plus your yellow cubes, and then you divide that by 3 and get that many brown research points. And then your final one has got some thresholds. If you can get that X number, in this case yellow cards plus your cubes, above 9 you get some points, and above 12 you get even more points in addition to that top line. That's typically how those yellow ones work. Benefit for everybody immediately on the top, or for maybe just one person, and then some sort of point benefit based on the number of cubes plus the number of a color of a card. In the military type, take this track here. Now, we already talked about how we've been moving along that track with these explosion things, and that's our base level. So you get your base level plus any red cubes that you have accumulated up to that point, and those red cubes, or cubes in the red spot, give you 2 strength each. And you take that and you see who has the most military strength. There's also a like piece or a computer player, I guess, or a, a filler in there for the game. So it starts at 3 here, it's at 3 here. It'll be different each time. It's at 9 at this one, and at the end it's at 14. So they will be in the rankings just like everybody else. So again, you take your base level plus any cubes times 2, and that is your value that you get, and then whoever has the most to the least get these benefits. So in this case, the first player gets a yellow cube, a purple cube, and 3 points. Second place gets a yellow or a purple cube and 1 point. Third place only gets 1 point. Ties are friendly, so if 2 people tie for first, they both get the first one, and then it skips to the third place. And again, the they call it the external threat, which is the game kind of setting a standard. They will place as well. So if they're first, then they're the only ones that get that, and everybody else starts at second place. So you kind of, it gives a threshold for you to get any points. So if nobody's doing really military stuff, you can't just do a little bit and get all of the benefits. You still have to beat that external threat. Like I said, those switch off starting in round 3 until round 9. At the end of the game, you have one of each. And these are random each new game. Okay, those are the 6 phases. And like I said at the beginning, while there's a lot going on, the only thing you're really doing is placing your cards and then deciding if you want to buy anything new. You automatically move up the evolution track, and so you may get to decide what benefits you get. Then you decide if you want to buy a wonder, a leader, and then which new research card you want to buy. Everything else just kind of happens based on what you have and what you gained during that turn. You get points at the end for a lot of different things. You get points anytime you see these leaves. You get points based on this track, based on the evolution track. All of the cards give you points. So the wonders will give you points. And then some of the leaders will give you points anytime you see that symbol. So we'll look at a couple of turns here. So this is my first turn. I chose my 4 placements, and I put the other one down here. Notice it already skipped all the way to phase E because nobody had any icons to do anything with, or enough to do anything with. We all got some starting benefit, but not enough to do anything with. But we all got some research. It automatically moved up my research there, and now it shows me which research cards I can buy, and they cost 1, and so I can pick one of those, and now I have an actual something on the left that I can actually use next round. First couple rounds are going to be pretty quick like that, but eventually you're going to have more and more options. So in this case, I purchased this green one, so then now if I put it on this side, I get a purple cube. All right, we're into the second round already. I'm picking my cards, and now I have this new green one to pick. I put them here. I ended up not using this because I wanted the extra yellow, because if I can get enough yellow, maybe I can buy one of these better cards here. All right, so now we are in C1 because green moved up 1. They had 2 green cubes. They moved up 1, so now they'll choose 2 blue cubes. So it is confusing because the symbols are blue, but everybody's cubes are different colors. So they're blue symbols that they have represented by cubes of their own color. They move here, and they're going to choose one of these benefits that everybody who gets to that level at a later point gets, including them. And they chose a purple icon. So anybody who gets it to that certain level will get a purple icon. That was the only thing that happened in C. So now D, note I've got up to here, and I purchase a brown card. I'm really pushing up that yellow one that looks like. I'm going to try to save it up so I can buy something nice. That's it. We're on to round 3. I'm starting to get some more cards here. And now I've got some benefits on the left side. So now we're in the wonder phase. Everybody's been kind of collecting these wonders. Me and the brown or the black here, I believe, and green player have some. Wait, am I green? No, I'm the black there. We have enough to buy one of these wonders, and so we can choose. And so I can choose. If I choose this one, remember, I get priority, or I can pay for one of. Yeah, they all cost 2, and I have up to 3. So I decided to buy. Which one? This red one here, which gave me 3 red cubes, and it'll give me 2 points at the end of the game. I spent 2 of my points there, and I was the only one to buy that, so we didn't have any tiebreakers, and then the green player chose one as well. So these are the leaders that we talked about that were coming up. You can see they have all sorts of different things. Sometimes they just give immediate benefits, like this one is just 2 population growth. 3 red cubes. This one gives you an extra research point of green every round. So that, again, they stay in that middle, and anything over here they give research points, and everything over here they give those cubes too. And then these two have benefits when they're alive and when they're dead. So in this case, when they're alive, anytime you purchase a wonder, you get 2 points. When they're dead, anytime you purchase a wonder, you get 1 point. This one is when they're alive. Level 3s cost 1 less, and that is the same when they're dead. And then they have points at the end. Some of them do have points at the end of the game. So people have enough to buy leaders. Well, just green right now. And so it'll wait to see if anybody wants to buy a leader. Note that I have now 4 here. I think I was saving up for that, and I'm going to buy this nice little 4 card here. And because I bought this 4 card, I got a red research point, a brown research point, and a population. So my population is now 6. I must have got one from something else. So you can see it just all combos there, but what you actually do when playing on BGA isn't that much. After we're done here, there's going to be an end of game situation, which we're here, and everybody gets to choose which one they want, either the purple or the blue icon. And then you get points based on number of yellow cubes and number of yellow cubes plus number of green cards. I don't know that I had any green. I did have 1 green card, so you can see I got a point for that. And there it goes. And then when we get to this level, again, each one that you have in here, like I have 3, that's going to move me up 6. Somebody already has a base level here of 1, and whoever's first gets this benefit, second gets this benefit, third gets this benefit, and anyone else doesn't get any benefit. That's how this game plays. It goes over 9 rounds, and again, you just pick your 4 cards, then you get icons on either side, and you get to purchase either wonders, leaders, stuff on the evolution track, or new research cards, and then something happens at the end of the round. You do that for 9 rounds. At the end of the game, whoever has the most points is the winner. Hope this was helpful.